Alright, so hi guys, and hi myself for today. Today is pretty early, like earlier than yesterday because I've done all the work and now I have time for myself. I can sleep. I can sleep early for today. Actually, it's 10 o'clock. I'm gonna go to bed at 10. So it is a really good idea for me to get up at about half past five. I think. Oh, so okay. So let's start with this one. Okay, so let's do it. You know the saying, you should be the best. People say that you'll be the best. Is being 30% of your class good enough for you? No. If you want something, you gotta get after it. And then you start producing good results and then you build confidence along the way. Let's get a first case here 10 study techniques that I script my honest medical student. They help me get into the medicines and I use these on a day-to-day basis. Half I focus on the actual study techniques and the other half focus on the study mentality, which is just important. Let's start with the first one. First, you study for testable core materials outwards. Specialize the box represents all information that is presented to you, and start in the middle is the studyable material. Someone who doesn't know how to study will go from top to bottom, copying every single detail, and then when the exam time comes, they have to cover like 20 to 30% of the studyable. Whereas someone who knows how to study will start from the middle, study for core materials, then study board, and then study our books, and then exam time comes. Although they have to study everything they studied, what is important and what is testable. I'm not going to be the best student as possible. I want to be the best doctor as possible. So when studying, we have this tendency to try to learn everything. But we have to make this mindset shift from focusing on those long-term goals to short-term goals. And then towards short-term goals, when you're taking courses, is to pass and get good grades in every midterm and every exam that is presented before you. And then those long-term goals will take care of themselves. So how do you know whether it's stable or not? There are three ways of figuring that out. First is to look for practice tests or previous tests. Sometimes the lectures give you, a couple of questions at the end of the lecture to go on, pay attention to those. I also look online in undergrad to figure out if there are any practice tests lying around. I asked senior if they took the course and if they had any practice material. I asked my friend who was also taking the course, you gotta use the resources to figure out if there are any additional study materials that you can use. How do you think like a seminar? Not a learner, so you're going over into material, always imagine in your mind how to test in multiple choice format. How can I state this in a short answer format? And then try to learn that way. Number two on the list is to write good concise notes and then plan out your timing for your midterms and your exams. And then constantly evaluate your activities so that you're not falling behind. So for example, let's say you're taking 5 courses and before midterm you're gonna go over 10 lectures per course and then each lecture has 50 slides. That totals to 2,500 slides that you have to go over before the midterm. So you have to write a good concise notes that summarizes everything that makes it manageable for you to go over material before you graduate good midterm so that you're not overloaded. Sharing those sources as possible containing keywords and important information. You know that if you don't remember something from your notes, you have some PowerPoint slides you can always fall back on. Number three on the list is to use active recall learning. I made a video on this previously that you can watch, but let me expand on that further here. Let me start by giving you examples of students who don't know how to study. So we're presented with information like mitochondria is about half of a cell, what it's doing. We're thinking that it is right, nothing to into brains. So what I do when I'm going through all my notes is when I read information, I read only the keywords. As about to look at my notes, I look at the keyword. For example, what is mitochondria? And then I try to think mitochondria is the part of our house, of a cell, what a powerhouse of a cell. And I try to pick supplement information from the nature is powerhouse of a cell because produce ATP. So I'm using all of my senses. I'm writing down which is methodical motion. I'm saying things out which is my verbal. I'm looking at my notes. Previously I'm using my visual cues. And I'm same thing. I'm listening, so I'm using also my auditory senses, and most often you're actually recalling. You cannot remember all the information, and that is okay because studies have shown that just by attempting to recall, you are creating a connection between the information and your brain and your memory. Number four, it cannot say emphasizes this enough. Reviewing is just a person at learning new information. So if you have to just to go over before midterms, for example, it's about to go 1 to 20 and then go back to 1 to 20. By the way, I go to 1 to 5 and then I review 1 to 5 quickly and then I move on 6 to 10. And then I go on 6 to 10. If you more quickly, I go over 1 to 5 and then I look 6 to 10 and then I go into 11 to 15. Obviously, you have to take time to this therapy before midterm so that you actually cover everything. Number five is more of a mentality thing. You have to study harder for your midterms than your final exams. You're gonna actually study hard for your final exam, but you have to study harder for your midterms because that sets the plans for the entire course. Let's say you get a bad mark on midterm, or any kind of course, just a catch-up game. During the whole time, probably 2 3 months, I'm worrying about whether you're not going to get your final mark so that you can make up for getting a bad mark on your midterms. My six is having a strong mindset toward the school year. I want to come across a little harsh here, but you know what I'm saying? You gotta get your best. I would say freaking you gotta be the best. Is your best really top 1% of your class? Is your best really top 1% of your class? If your program you got get into the enhanced class than 10% acceptance rate, is being top 20% of your class good enough for you? No. If you do something, you have to go after it. And then you try producing good results and then you be confident along the way. Number six, I'm putting the work in and out in working everyone, which is kind of content in this video, but it's the new video. But compared to someone who knows all these techniques but doesn't work hard, everyone who knows not these techniques, but it's what you put in the hours in sitting and getting information into the brain. So always going to beat the person who better study techniques. I was a in person in my class, so I was just learning about everyone. So I not I walked into the library, everyone with everyone else, and the observatory after everyone else. I spent my time studying on Friday nights, Saturday nights when everyone was going out partying, and there was, on a student to go live in the library at the same time and a nice time, and he's now a kind of situation that UNA or things that happen. I just kept work up everyone if you really want to be successful. Number eight is getting a seriously studied partner and friends who wants about you. If you think it's gonna be hard to find them, then if you start studying nighttime and celebrate all the time, and you can copy these guys. They try coming early in the morning and leaving late at night. Coming on weekends. But in the crowd, I had a group of friends who are really disrupted and we did disrupt each other what time to study. We study and we would take each other. And when when the business was taken care of, we went out and have fun. Number nine is staying consistent in staying for everything, especially in medicine where there's many things going on. If you lose track of things and it is stressed to have to be on top of every email, I have to be on top of every assessments and other work that I have to do. Undergrad, you are dealing with side courses plus your extracurriculars and everything going on, so you have to stay on top of everything so that you don't fall behind and get stressed. Let me give you an example of consistency and why is it so important. You have to student A and student B. Student A working on Friday night, Saturday, Sunday. Storage B is at work on Friday night but takes Saturday and Sunday off. The student B has fallen behind student A by 24 hours. So no matter how hard you charge, no matter what happen next on Monday, staying 14 hours and supposed to 2 hours. As you're staying 16 hours, a nice guys always playing catch up to student A, and you know curve in university and undergrad, we're just gonna be able to compete against student A. Number 10 is basically controlling your anxiety and your worry when you're going through school. There are two types of warriors. One is someone who just know how to study and worry about not studying. That's the solution to that is simple. You should study. Number two is second type of warrior is someone who worries despite having done all the studies. And when you're in that position, then you need to write out what you're worried about. So though on a notebook or on an iPad or whatever, you are worrying about because you're not seeing what you're worried about. So if you find a half line or what in the middle, write out what you can control and what you cannot control. And something like that you can control is working only within the library and studying for X amount of hours, and then staying focused when you're studying. When you can control is the actual grades that I'm gonna catch from this course. So if I'm worried who I'm gonna be I'm gonna be plus or A plus, you cannot control that. Just focus on your control, and you just have to give up on what you cannot control. Okay, so that is the end of my video today. So okay, so bye guys. It is like nearly 10, and I can have like 7 hours if we want to wake up at 5 for tomorrow, or I can have 7.5 hours if we want to wake up at half past 5 for tomorrow. Also, it is a really good idea for me to sleep early in night because I can have better sleep. I can take care of myself. Oh, slowly because I can take care of myself, and it is a really good chances, and it is a really good chance for me to improve myself if I really want to be if I really want to do that if I really want to do that if I really want to do that if I really want to do that. So I have to try really hard if I really want to be successful. I really want to get good grades in the no, the English, the regular English, the regular English class, and as well as get good grades on the other stuff. If I cannot improve my speaking and my writing or my reading, listening, so I cannot just answer cut to them because English, most of the students, they were born here, so English is their mother tongue. So English is their mother tongue language. So I have to try really hard because English is it, English is not my mother tongue. It is my second language, so I have to try really hard in order to like although English is my second language, but I study in the same class with the guys who use English as their mother tongue, and I get better mark, marks than them. So I have to do like that. I want that. So if I really want that, so I have to do that. Okay, so that's the end of my video for today because in the 10 minutes video I want to speak too long because it's just my video for practicing my speaking in normally like the speed and the pronunciation. It's not actually about what I think or what I can talk. Okay, so bye guys.